Hello and welcome back to the Notleague Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Back after a mini break on the channel. The lack of Premiership football, and as well as that, the lower leagues not being on to its full capacity, unlike this weekend. Wasn't much to talk about, so took a wee much needed break on the channel. But back now, plenty of stuff coming up over the next few weeks and into the end of the season. Got a couple of exclusive interviews already recorded and plenty of Scotland stuff next week, all your usual sort of instant reactions and things like that after those games. And as well as that, on our website, the lower leagues are back, and we've got a really lengthy card of games we are covering live this weekend, so do check out our Twitter and our website in the description to keep an eye on what we'll be up to over the weekend. In terms of this video, big talking point for the Scotland national team this week after the squad was announced. A couple of new faces in the squad. Jack Hendry recalled after a couple of years away from the side. Kevin Nisbet's given his first call-up, but perhaps the headline news is Che Adams is now going to be a Scotland international. Alex McLeish chased him up for it a couple of years ago during his reign as Scotland manager. Che Adams obviously representing England at under 20s level. Chose not to commit at that time, but now he has committed to Steve Clarke's side ahead of World Cup qualifying this month. Games against Austria, Israel and the Faroe Islands to come next week, I believe, and then in the triple header. And Che Adams is going to be part of the squad. A big boost for the national team. Strikers, perhaps a position that Scotland have struggled in, at least in my lifetime. Apart from the likes of Kenny Miller and things like that, you've not really had a striker who's pretty much been a guaranteed goal every other game he's played for Scotland. Lyndon Dykes has done really well in recent times, but perhaps Che Adams is going to be the regular goal-scoring touch to really finish this Scotland side that's packed with talent from the Premier League and as well in our own domestic division. Perhaps a player in Portugal should also have got a call, but I'll leave that for perhaps another video or a talking point on our website. Interview today with Kevin Wilson. If you're not aware of Kevin Wilson, before my time, when in his playing days, he played with the likes of Chelsea. In his playing days, making his way from non-league to the heady heights of Chelsea, and as well as that, he was a Northern Ireland international with 42 caps, I believe. Although if you listen to his accent, you might be slightly confused as to how that happened, but it's all explained in the video. He was also a manager at Northampton Town and such places, but where he fits into Che Adams' story is he was manager of Ilkeston, sort of interesting club in its own right, with some of the stuff that happened there. Promising youth academy at that non-league club, and one of the players just happened to be Che Adams, who Kevin helped on his way through non-league up until his move to Sheffield United, and he hasn't really looked back since. Now, playing in the Premier League with Southampton, Kevin played a massive role in his career. Still only 24, Che Adams, and Kevin has played a big part in getting to where he is now at his age. Been a really interesting journey, really interesting chat. Perhaps some things I wasn't aware of, the things Adams had to sort of go through to reach where he is now, and Kevin gives plenty of insight into that, as well as being a former teammate of Steve Clarke. So plenty of insight in this video. So we hope you do enjoy. Check out the written version as well on our website. Links to all of Kevin's goings on as well in the description if you want to check that out. And yeah, enough rambling from me. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and until next time.
He was 15, Shay. So, and I've watched his development from, I went to a trial game at Leicester City, which he was playing in. And I actually got a comment that he was a street kid. And I just saw that raw talent that the boy had. And he drifts past people with his power and his strength, and he scores, can score goals. And he's just developed as he's gone on, through the time at Ilkeston. I'm sure he'd tell you the that I was a hard taskmaster. I wanted him, I wanted the best, and we had a good setup that the academy was feeding the first team, and the opportunities came for the ones that were developing and moving forward, and that's what happened with Shay. Really, he did really well in the academy, got into the first team because that was a 4 or 5 year plan that we wanted to get all our younger players who were better to get into the first team to play first team football and then develop them on from there. But his rise has been something dramatic, really, because we sold him to Sheffield United, and then it's moved quite quickly for him. Sheffield United to Birmingham City, and then to Southampton, and he's getting better year on year. But it's nothing more than I expected from the boy, because he used to travel from Leicester to Ilkeston, so it took him maybe a train journey, a couple of buses to get there, and he was never late. He was always there on time. He was wanting to do it, and it's all great respect for him for what he's done and how he's got there, really. And he's a level-headed boy. I still speak to him on a regular basis, and when I got your text yesterday about it, I was straight on giving him a congratulations, and he, how do you know? But no, great. It's fantastic. It's nothing more than the boy deserves, because all of his hard work, and he's most probably one of these that you can say that he's a bit of a maverick, really, because he can do things that can get people off their seats.
We're going to go through it all. It's a nice wee summary there to start. First of all, just when I was doing my research for this with Ilkeston, because I did a bit with a couple of the guys at Ilkeston Town.
Yeah.
The situation with Ilkeston, the thing that I kept seeing, obviously I am not an expert on the leagues of English football, but it appears as if there's sort of almost two clubs, or are they the same? Can you sort of just give us a sort of bit of background into sort of...
What happened was, when Shay was there, it was Ilkeston FC, I think, and what happened, Ilkeston FC went into liquidation. So Ilkeston Town was started. It's the second time, actually, the club has gone under and come back from the ashes. But it's a fantastic club, and it had something really going positive with our academy. I think in 1 year, Ben, we lost 8 players in our first team, and I think 4 of them had actually come through our academy to higher level or into actually into the Football League. So that was how good it was going, and Shay was just one of those boys that came off the production line. I had Darren Caskey, who the ex Tottenham player. I had Steve Chettle, who came in as my assistant after Darren went to Gateshead with Gary Mills, and both have had big influences on Shay and the boys that moved on. But yeah, there's two. Now it's a new formed club now. So Ilkeston FC was a club when Shay was there, and then it's Ilkeston United. It's Ilkeston Town now. Is it Ilkeston Town?
Ilkeston Town. Because I was dead confused, because I don't know if you'll know Kelvin Wilson. He was a defender.
That's right. Yeah, ex-Forest. He's there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there, and when I seen the town name, I was like, "Great, this is like the same club almost." But I was like, "Hold on a minute here, that's all."
No, it went into liquidation, and very well. You get at Ilkeston, your mostly fan base, you're mostly get 500 to every game at home. That's how good a fan base it was, and in my time there with Shay, we were one step off Conference North. We lost in the playoff final, but it's a good club, and it's shown that. I think Ash Hunter's another one that who's come from there and gone through. There are a few that have. Kieran Wallace came from Nottingham Forest and ended up going to Sheffield United with Nigel Clough, and he's at Burton Albion now. So we've had a few that have gone, but none more so than Shay Adams, really.
Yeah, you're managed at that level, but they're not too bad career yourself. For anybody watching or reading from Scottish football that perhaps isn't as accustomed, can you sort of give a bit of background to your playing career as well?
Yeah, well, I started in non-league. I started a club called Banbury United, which was my hometown club, and fortunately for me, I got the opportunity to sign for Derby County in 1979. I was there for approximately just over 5 years, I think, and I ended up signing for Ipswich Town, and having a couple of years at Ipswich, and then got a big move. Well, got the move then to Chelsea. I was at Chelsea then for approximately 6 years, and then I went to Notts County in the Premiership, and then I moved my sort of career then back into to sort of player coach role. I went to Walsall, and we under a guy called Chris Nichol, who unfortunately has got dementia now, and we're trying to raise money for him going forward. But we got promoted there. And then I got the opportunity then to go with one of my old teammates, Ian Atkins, at Northampton. And I got eventually left the job, and I took over, and I got promoted in my first season as a manager at Northampton Town in 1999-2000. So, and then I've gone really then just a few non-league clubs really, Ilkeston, Nuneaton, Kettering, just to name a couple. And it's really been one of them now where I'm in sports management now, with a company that we own. Do you want me to say who it is or
no,
not?
Batter in.
Yeah, Sports Connections. So we've been going about approximately 3 and a bit years. So we're trying to give younger players the opportunity like Shay Adams really. And I just mostly look at myself not as an agent, I look at myself as a mentor really, and trying to bring these players through and give them the experiences I had as a player, as good and bad. Because as everybody knows, you get the good times and you get the bad times. So it's how you come through them. But Shay was a talent, a raw talent. When you saw him as a 16-year-old, he was strong and powerful and could go past people.
Yeah, I mean, now reading up on your career and stuff before we came on, and Shay Adams is obviously not Scottish, even though he can apply for Scottish, and you might be the most English Northern Irishman I've ever heard.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, you've got something in common there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look, it's a great opportunity for him. The birthright. I was fortunate through my mother, who come from Dungiven in Northern Ireland, the County Down, and you look at Shay. Shay's got the opportunity through his grandparents, I think, isn't it? So
yeah, grandparent.
It's an opportunity you can't turn down. And I said to him, let's hope it's the beginning. Because it's a great opportunity for him, because if he can go there, there's the opportunity of playing in the Euros, isn't there? So it would be a great start, and I think he's made the right choice. I know Steve Clarke from my playing days at Chelsea, and I know what sort of guy he is, and I think he will bring the best out of Shay.
Did Steve Clarke smile at Chelsea, or is that sort of story?
That's just the way he is. Yeah, he did a smile occasionally, but he's a good lad. He was an exceptional player himself, and he's gone on and done really well in management. So I'm pleased for him. He was a good teammate to have, and what have you. So he's gone on to good things.
Yeah. Shay Adams is perhaps a story you're seeing more of. Obviously, the big headline one's Jamie Vardy, how he's came down the leagues and then moved his way back up. At stories like Shay's, I mean, he's a goal scorer at Premier League level now. There's every chance if he gets on the mark for Scotland this month that he'll be playing at Euro 2020. It shows that you don't need to go through these Premier League not that there's anything wrong with that, but it shows there is also alternative methods to go up the sort of football ladder.
Well, there's lots of little gems in non-league, and people need to look at it. And that's, I think at one stage we had 43 scouts and managers at one game, and there were like 10, 11 agents. So that showed you how much interest there was in Shay, but also Ilkeston FC at the time, because they could see the younger players coming through. And Shay was the one that most probably stood out at that time, and he's developed on, and he's moved on to the bigger stage, and it's nothing more than he deserves really, because when you see what I've seen, when he was younger and what he sort of put in to get there, and a lot of it was from his his parents' money, his mum's money that puts it, to get there, and his expenses was sometimes covered. I think his first contract, I think one of his contract was under contract. I think it was getting paid £40 a week, non-contract. So it's certainly a great story. It's a great story, but like I say, there are a lot more Shay Adams out there like that. But people have got to be willing to tap into them and really look out for them. I think it's too easy now to sit behind a computer, and I know we're in an pandemic, and it's different, but you have to look at it, and people need to get out there and watch these players, because there are players. I was at a game last night, and there's a couple of players there that you could see that they've got, if they're given the right opportunity and given the right coaching, they can develop and do what Shay's done.
Yeah, I was going to sort of go back on that. I know you've spoken about sort of his sort of commitment. Now, I think that's perhaps just from non-league here, non-league in England. There are so many players like that. But at his age, being sort of 19 myself, I can imagine it's a bit harder to motivate a younger guy who, and perhaps maybe seen some of his pals or something like that in professional academies and things like that. And as you say, he's getting buses and trains all over the country to play non-league and get kicked about a bit.
Yeah. Well, you need to be a certain character, don't you? Because football, people always think, oh well, football's all about physical, but it's not. It's about mental as well, and you've got to make sure you prepare properly for games and make sure that you're doing the right things, eating and sleeping right, and I can always remember that he didn't come back in the best shape one pre-season, and I'll give him a bit of a rollicking, really. And I was going to say, if you get a chance to speak to him, he must tell you himself. And I said, if you want to go on and to be a professional footballer, is you've got to go and do the work to get there, and that was certainly one of the things that he's gone on and done. And I made my debut against Israel, and so
he'll be sick of playing Israel. I don't want to hear Israel mentioned with Scotland. I think that's there's people in the Scotland squad that'll have played Israel away 3 times this season.
Are they? When do they play them? The first game, or
they play Austria on the 25th, and then 3 days later it's Israel away, which will be the 6th or 7th time Scotland have played Israel.
Right.
Sick of them.
Well, yeah. Well, I was going to say it'd be quite ironic if he actually makes his debut against Israel with me making my debut. And most probably, I hope he goes on to. I got 42 caps, but I hope he goes on and is a real success. He's 24 years of age, and he's got everything in front of him. I think it's up to him to where he needs to where he wants to go. That's how, for me, that's how good he is. And I saw that raw talent as a 15, 16-year-old before, when we got him to come to Ilkeston Academy. But a great kid. He's a great kid. He's got good personality, and he's certainly a guy that wants to move on.
To go, so you obviously speak quite highly of him, but I think Scotland spoke to him when he was about 19, 20 as well. And by the way you're talking as well, that before that you had scouts and clubs and all that asking about him.
Yeah, I was going to say he's it's quite shy and reserved, really, when you sort of get to meet him. But when you get to meet, when you get to know him, he's a real good lad. And I just most probably see him. He can go wherever he wants to go, but it's like everything, you have to be focused. And he's 24 years of age. To make your debut for Scotland at 24 years of age is I think it was the right move for him, because I think he's left it a little bit longer. He's developed and he's got more experience of playing Premiership, and I think the opportunity to go and play international football. And like you say, if he does well, Ben, he could be playing in the Euros this summer. And then all of a sudden, you're talking the world. Well, I know that everybody sees the Premiership, but everybody have their eyes on the Euros this summer.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't surprise me, Ben. It wouldn't surprise me if he takes the challenge up and takes the international stage by storm.
Well, the thing is with the Scotland strikers is that obviously if Che Adams is available and he can play for Scotland, I'm sure Steve Clarke would have reached out to him.
Yeah.
But Scotland strikers, a couple of them have scored like one goal. So I think Scotland's strikers for the last camp have scored like 3 or 4 goals since then.
Right.
So there's Scotland are a bit top heavy in some places. You've got like left back where you've got Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney. You can't fit them both in, despite the fact they're probably both in the top 5 left backs in the world.
That's right. Yeah.
You get John McGinn and Scott McTominay in midfield, even though McTominay plays at centre back.
Yeah.
And but then up front you've got sort of a lack of options, similar to right back and in goal. So he's probably that.
We've not really had an out-and-out goal scorer since Ali McCoist, really, have you?
Yeah. There's not. At least in my time, there's not been really.
Gordon Jury, did he really get enough goals for Scotland? I played with Gordon at Jukebox at Chelsea, and he was some player. He was some player.
I was 2001 born, so
right. All right. So you must be a bit before your time, then, Ben.
Bit before my time, but sort of in my experience, there's never really been. You've got guys like Kenny Miller and things like that. Really well for the national team, but there's never.
What's the best scoring record for a Scot? Ali McCoist, is it, or is it further back?
Yeah, it'll be Ali McCoist, your Kenny Dalglishes and things like that.
That sort of thing.
There's nobody really from the modern era that's
right. So he's got a great opportunity, hasn't he? He's got a fantastic.
I think Steve Clarke said in his presser yesterday, as we record this, that I think he said because of. I think you think Che, because I know when I seen he was 24, I was like. Yeah. Che Adams has been about for 5 or 6 years now, and sort of
that's right.
Football. You think he's a lot older than he actually is, and I think Steve Clarke was saying if he can, because of the amount of international games, it's perhaps not like in your playing days where you maybe have 1 or perhaps 2. You're playing triple headers now, and
I know. Yeah, so it can happen. It can happen quite quickly, can't it? And no, he take it all in his stride. He's one of these boys that has done that from. When he started at the academy, went into the first team at Ilkeston. Then he's gone to Sheffield United with Nigel Clough, and I think Nigel Clough, started to shape him and mould him into what he where he started to go as well. And I just look at it. Then he's gone then to Birmingham City, which is the next step in the Championship, and he's took that by storm. And yeah, he had a bit of a rough time when he went to Southampton at the start. He was in and out, and he never got the goals and what have you. But then it seemed to have clicked. He's really worked hard on his game, and I think he's got 3 and 3 now. So he's certainly in a good frame of mind and on a good run. And he can score all different types of goals. He can score the little bundlers that he can get over the line that he scored at Chelsea earlier in the season, and the one that he scored at Sheffield United. I think it was always one that he was always going to score at Sheffield United, because I think if you look at his record, he scored quite a lot of goals at Sheffield United. And I still think there's still a lot more to come from him. He's one of these players that he just got to keep believing in what he's doing, and he's been a credit. He's a credit to his family and the people that know him, really.
Yeah. In terms of your management career, is it safe to say that even if he's not the best player, definitely the player with the most potential you've worked with?
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, he would. Yeah, Shay, you're on about. Yeah. Potential. Oh yeah. He had the potential, but. We always had we worked on the 3 A's at Ilkeston: attitude, application equals ability. And I've always said that to him. Even when I speak to him, I always say to him that you got to make sure you have the other 2 before the other part comes out, you know, and he's certainly gone on and reaping the rewards at the moment. And now Scotland's just another step in the right direction for him.
Yeah. So when you messaged him after seeing my message and messaged him, I'm assuming you're going to take half the credit for him if he fires Scotland to the Euro 2020 glory after a long absence.
I was going to say I've been one of the ones that, you know, I was at the beginning, you know, and hopefully we like when you build a house, you make sure that you're giving good foundations and you give him the right discipline and what have you. You know, that was one thing that we really built on, and you know, making sure that you're doing the right things. And I think hopefully if that's something I'd give him and what have you, that's brilliant, you know. And you know, when he puts his shirt on, like, you know, when I made my debut for Northern Ireland in Israel, it was a proud day, and it'd be a proud day to see Shay have his first cap for Scotland.